All right, folks, here we are on Trading Up. We've got SG in the house. He's about to walk you through some of his take on his ICT training. So he's gone through the ICT training. If you don't know who that is, go and check it out on Trading Up. It's Michael Huddleston, Inner Circle Trader, and he's going to basically show you his take on it, how he's come up with those sort of methodologies and turned it into his own trading system. So welcome to the show, SG.
Hey man, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, let's get your screen shared and let's have a look at this stuff.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Hey folks, my sponsors City Traders Imperium have just launched some amazing changes to their funded trader program you got to check out. You can now skip the whole evaluation, trade gold as well as Forex, plus they've increased the drawdown you're allowed in both the evaluation and when funded. With CTI, it's even faster and easier to reach up to $4 million in funding with a 50 to 70% profit share. Click the link in the description to find out what else has changed.
Me personally, when it comes to strategies, like everybody knows, I learned from ICT, but even after learning from ICT, I still blew up like maybe 12, 13 accounts after I learned from him. We talked about that earlier. So yeah, I had to just go through and just the experience, man. Like, the experience of getting in the market and learning and sampling from ICT and then building my own system. So I built my own system based off of, his analysis, his content, man. So yeah, so I got 6 strategies that I use in the market, and I'll name them off, but we'll go over one in particular. So let's see. My main. This is only 6 I use. Period. Like I said, I built them just off of my experiences in the market. But one of them is called my open and drive setup. Then I have a 1031/5 minute chart setup. These are just names I came up with. So nothing, you're not going to find it anywhere. But anyway, so the third one is higher time frame inefficiency setup. Then I have a swing trade setup. Then I have an intraday swing trade setup. And I have an equal high/low setup. So the first one I brought up was open and drive. I'm not going to go over open and drive because that one's a very, very high volatile chart. And that only comes around a couple times a season. In other words, Q2 and Q4, that setup is like booming, and it's amazing. It's very aggressive. It's at the 1 minute chart. Use a lot of pre-market data, and that thing, I'm usually done in 5-6 minutes trading with that setup. My 1030 chart, that one's really good because it's also can be used as counter trend trading. So I don't have to go with the higher time frame analysis. That one's called the 1031/5 minute chart setup. But the one that I'm going to go over today, that's my bread and butter. That one is all year round, by the way. The one I'm going to go over right now, this guy is pretty much all year round. It's, everyone knows that really trades. Whatever setup you're using, more than likely, you're not going to be able to do that same one setup all year round because the market's always moving and adapting, adjusting. You're going to have to come up with multiple setups, in my opinion, to be able to day trade every day or, when you need to. So the one I'm going to go over right now is called the higher time frame setup. That's my bread and butter. That's because that one is, it's pretty much for me, it's all year round. And, it tells as long as your chart, you can read the chart and you can have as long as there's criteria, as long as the chart fits the criteria, you know what I'm saying? Then, I would try to trade that chart, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go over the higher time frame inefficiency setup. That's my favorite one. And basically it's, like I said, it's higher time frame. So I'm looking on the hour, the 4 hour, the 30 minute normally, somewhere in that time frame, and I'm looking for entries. I'm looking for inefficiencies and also liquidity. So in this scenario here, this is the NASDAQ or the NAS 100, whatever you want to call it. Matter of fact, let's go over to, I'm going to go to the daily chart. So on the daily chart, this is what I got. I love this shoulder right here, this left shoulder. Looks like a equal high or swing high here. And then we have this sell-off here. This sell-off here, to me, looks like it, took out this liquidity here, these wicks here, went down into this order block. And then we had this strong expansion or distribution, whatever you want to call it, right? This strong price delivery going above this swing high. When this happens, it gives me a lot of information that, this could be a purge. Now, this also could have just went above this swing high and then continue to go higher. But once it went above this previous swing high, and then we sold off through these lows, this previous low here. That gave me an indication that we may be looking for a bearish market later on. Again, this is the daily chart, right? So on the daily chart, I'm looking for inefficiencies. That's what I'm looking for. And also not just any inefficiency, I'm looking for, I want, like I just explained, I want price to tell a story. And so I just kind of told you guys that I got this little shoulder over here, and then we had this aggressive move above it, right? And then for a few days, a few weeks actually, it stayed up here. And then it started to work its way down, pop back up, and then we shot down again through this low here, this previous swing low, which is very important to me. We go through this swing low, and we left this inefficiency right here. Let me take some of this stuff off the chart so you can see it a little bit better. I'll take these those vertical lines off. If you look right in here, on this daily chart, we have a wick here, a wick here. It's a beautiful inefficiency. We call it a fair value gap, FVG. This community should know that. That's a sweet spot for me. And it's on the daily chart. What else is important to me? Let's go down to the 4 hour from here. Let's check out the 4 hour. So the 4 hour is still showing a soft spot in there. I really like that. And again, we took out that low. Now, when we took out this swing low over here, remember I just showed you guys on the daily chart, we took out this previous swing low. And once we took it out, price came back and retested an order block, and it shows some strong expansion here. So now if we go down to the daily or the 1 hour chart, as of right now, it looks like to me obviously Monday's the low of the week. That's what we got right now. Monday's the low of the week right now, and I'm trying to see if that's going to hold up. So we'll see going into London session tonight, and then going into tomorrow, we'll see what happens. I like the bullish scenario because they manipulated price early in the week. Here's Monday's open right here. Here's Monday. This little yellow line here, that's Sunday's open. I don't need it there, but I like it there. So I like to leave it there just to see which way the market makers want to manipulate price. And as you can see, Sunday, Monday, they aggressively sold off into a previous swing low and took that liquidity way over here. All right, guys. You see they took that low over there, which is what I wanted. And then they left on the daily chart, they left this huge inefficiency. But on the 1 hour, I still have another inefficiency in there also. So I really like this setup. So what I'm thinking what's going to happen is, since they sold off price earlier in the week, Sunday and Monday, we're probably going to pop up like it did here, maybe come back down somewhere in a soft spot in here in this inefficiency area, and then maybe continue higher and close the rest of the week, go above the opening, Sunday's open. Once we get up here, I'm looking for possible swing trades if price fits my criteria. If the chart fits that criteria, I'm also looking for day trades to the sell side, and I'm looking for swing trades also. So that's what I'm waiting on. So right now it's 4:30 in the afternoon, New York time. The market pretty much is closed. So the New York session basically. So I'm looking to see what we're going to do here tonight. We got a huge area right here. And this is where a lot of guys get confused at. A lot of ICT or smart money traders, they understand the concept, but they get washed around. They don't know which order block to take. They don't know because they don't know what fair value gap or breaker. A lot of times it has a lot to do with the scenario. You just can't trade an order block, a fair value gap, some inefficiency. You need to trade a scenario. You need to trade the whole system, the whole structure. What is price telling you? And if you can comprehend what it's telling you, then you have a better chance at being consistent. So at this point, I like what they're doing this week. The Sunday, Monday, they sold off into that higher time frame liquidity. They made a low of the week. As of right now, we got a low of the week. We had an aggressive move today. I actually missed my entry, and I didn't like the lower time frame entry, so I didn't take a trade today. But my higher time frame analysis was correct. I expected them to retest this order block here like it did, and then we took off. So that's good. So my higher time frame analysis is correct, but my lower time frame entry was not right, so I didn't take a trade. Like I told you guys, I don't take a lot of trades. I know that.
Hey folks, just jumping in here now. This show is sponsored by Madrix. Madrix offers you 3 smart ways to make money from crypto. The first is CoinSets. baskets of coins you can invest in based around themes and picked by experts. The second is algos. Choose from hundreds of robots that can trade crypto for you on autopilot. And the third is to create your own algos and tap into over 50,000 Madrix investors. Click my special referral link in the description below or the card above and get $25 credit when you join Madrix today. Plus, this week only, if you invest in 2 coin sets before the 1st of November, you'll go in the draw to win one of 3 Ethereum coins. Current market price is almost $4,000 per coin. Terms and conditions apply. And do you think you'll take a trade trying to get to that zone as well, or like another attempt?
Yeah. So tomorrow, like I said, I don't normally trade London session. I'm big on New York session because I think that, you can trade London session, but I like to get more price data. So when you got, Sydney and you got Asia, London session, all that price data tells me what's going on from New York, so I can kind of zone in and see what they're really trying to do. So I like to wait until New York session the next day. So because we have this soft spot here, see, this is where guys get confused at. So let's talk about this for a second. We got these 2 little areas right here, really, where price is inefficient. Okay, so price could come in here and take off, or it can sell off through here and come down here and take off. What I do to help me not be confused, because for a long time, y'all, I was confused as hell. Like I could read the analysis, the ICT, the smart money style, but I just could not get my entries right. For me, higher time frame is king. We all know that. But lower time frame, as I call it, is queen. She turns the head. She kind of gets them to go where she wants to go. So what I do to help me out, I time everything with time and price. I time it with time and price, and I also time it with, I use the 1-minute chart, because I feel like every time frame has its own liquidity and inefficiency. Every time frame has to be respected. And I think that's why a lot of guys are not doing. I go all the way down to the 1 minute. I don't care what time frame I find a setup on. This setup right here is clearly on the 1 hour chart. But I'm going to zoom down once price, like right now, literally price is inside of this fair value gap right now. So what I would do is zoom down to the 1 minute chart from here. Once I go down to the 1 minute chart, I want to wait for my liquidity model to be formed on the 1 minute. This is what I do on this with this setup. This is the high time frame inefficiency setup, right? I told you guys I got like 6 setups. But this is the one. This is my bread and butter I love to use, because it has. The reason why I love this setup is because we have the higher time frame directional bias or order flow in our favor. So that's why I like this setup, because the institution guys are backing this delivery, this price delivery in this direction. So I have a swing low right here. So what I want to wait for now is this. Even though I got a swing low right here, I personally, I would like to see price come down here, go up, retest an inefficiency, and then take off. On the 1 minute chart. So this is what I look for on the 1 minute. And then what happens is we'll have an inefficiency here, and that's why we'll enter at. I don't enter purges. I'm big on take liquidity. I'm big on price taking liquidity. I'm an external trader, but I don't take external entries. I don't take that entry right here in this box that I'm making gold. I don't take that entry right there, because at the end of the day, we don't know how deep this is going to go. So I wouldn't want to just jump in right here and then it keeps going down lower and lower and I get smoked. So me personally, I want to see price prove itself. I want to let price prove that it's going to go lower and it's going to have a reaction, a strong price reaction out of there. That tells me that that's a draw on liquidity. They're drawing on these guys that bought right here earlier. So once they prove it, I'm going to wait for them to retest it, and I'm going to time that with time and price around the New York session time. Then I'm going to look for an entry in here, and then we're going to take targets off for liquidity on the 1 minute chart. And as price hits these 1 minute chart targets, then I'll zoom out to the 1 hour where I found this setup at, and hopefully I can hold it as long as price doesn't, hit those targets where I move my stop loss to. So that's how I trade this setup. I really enjoy it, and it's one of my favorite setups because it protects me, because the higher time frame is in my favor. So the higher time frame inefficiency, we're riding with that analysis, we're riding with that delivery. But I think guys get smoked because they're not going all the way down to the 1 minute, waiting on that 1 minute liquidity to be taken. And if it doesn't, and it's not taken, I don't take it. So let's say it goes down. Let's go back down to the 1 minute chart. Let's say price does not take that external, that little low right there. let's say it kind of just hovers right here and it takes off. A lot of guys will take that. I don't. Again, I'm an external trader. If it doesn't do what I want it to do, I'm not taking a trade. I want to see price come below this low because that stresses me out, me as a trader. If price just hovers right here and it takes off, I've seen in the past where it takes off and it comes back down real quick, takes that previous low and then this new low it made, and then take off. So me personally, I only wait for external to be taken, but I don't trade the purge. I want to wait until price proves that it's created that low first, and then it makes inefficiency. Because when price moves aggressively, it creates an inefficiency. When it creates that inefficiency, a lot of times it'll retest it. It'll take this low, it'll take that little swing high sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it'll create an inefficiency right here, and it'll retest it, and then we make a trade.
What does an external trader mean? I have not heard that term.
Oh, external is outside of the range that it's in. So in other words, external liquidity for me is outside of this range. So let's pretend, hold on. Let's go over here for 1 second. So if we go over here and you got a low, and you got a high, right? Or a swing high, right? So now you got this low and you got this previous high. That's a range. And anything inside of this range is internal. So when we move outside of that range, now it's external. It's outside the range. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, right. So you're going to take trades outside of the range, basically.
Yeah, I want to make sure. I want to make sure it goes outside of that range first. See, my setups cause a lot of confusion. My setups cause a lot of confusion. That's what I love. I love confusion because that leaves people off balance. It's like being a boxer. You know, a lot of boxers throw shoulder moves and head movement. They move their feet around. They shift around a lot. They want to confuse their opponent. If you come straight at somebody, I know what you're going to do. But if I confuse the shit out of you and you're off balance, I can take advantage of that. So I like confusion, and that's my home. So here's my journal. I use Discord to journal, and if you scroll over here, you can see there's no one in here but me. It's just me. It's just all my notes, all my hard work. I got all my strategies in here. Look, I got a thing that says, loss is what not to do with a clown face. Like, I'm really hard on myself. I got my numbers in here. This breaks down my margin, my free margin. I think that you guys need to be doing this, man. Like, you guys need to be journaling everything you do. But anyways, if you scroll down here to the bottom, you can see where it says my 6 strategies. All the way at the bottom left, it says open and drive setup, 1031/5 minute chart setup, higher time frame inefficiency setup. So that's what we've been talking about. So let's get into that. Here's a chart that didn't work for me. All right, so I painted a whole scenario. Like I said, the chart has to paint an entire picture. It just can't be, there's an order block, there's a fair value gap, there's the equal low. It has to be a whole scenario for me to entertain it, right? So anyways, I have this is GBP USD, GU. So here's a purge down here. We purged liquidity, and then we had a strong price reaction afterwards. When we had that strong price reaction, it left an inefficiency, this nice little order block down here. And then once price got down into it, I entertained an entry down there. So let's go see what happened. So that's the 1 hour chart, right? That's the 1 hour chart. Up there in the top left, it says 1 hour. So it's a 1 hour higher time frame setup, right? Excuse me. So now I'm zooming down to the 1 minute. Once price gets inside that 1 hour inefficiency, I want to see what it does. And in this case, it made those equal lows, but it did not purge it. So since it didn't purge it, I didn't take it. Even if price goes in my favor, I'm not going to just jump in because I know what that's like. I know that feeling. And I've jumped in trades before, and then they zoom back, they zip back down to my entry, and now I'm getting taken out because my stop is too close or it's too wide. I'm taking too much position and trying to jump in something. It's just sloppy trading. It's unprofessional in my opinion. So I know my demons. I know I know what I'm good and what I'm bad at. So I play to those strengths and weaknesses. So in this scenario, it did not take that external liquidity on that 1 minute chart, even though it still took off. Now, maybe you guys use fibs. Maybe you guys can use something else to where it helps you. I don't use none of that. I don't use volume. I don't use fibs. I don't use fibs. I don't care about none of that other stuff. If the chart does not do what I want it to do, I'm not taking a trade. And I'm okay with that. So in this scenario, it took off, but it didn't do what I wanted to do. So I left it alone. We got another. What's this? This is EU on the daily chart. So here's EU on the daily chart. We got these equal highs up here. Got another little swing high up here. It took this external liquidity, made a purge. And what's really interesting about this setup, we took that external liquidity and then it took that swing high up here. So I'm really interested. Let me take a screenshot. So I'm really interested. I love this right here, that swing high right there. So you got this high, and you got this low. So price went up, and then it went lower than that previous low, and then we went higher than this previous high. That's a really strong indication that we're going to go higher later on. But it doesn't have to. I mean, this thing could have come down here and a little reaction and then fell apart. And that's okay. I don't care if it does that, because I'm going to tell you why in a second. So anyways, price comes down into this inefficiency down here, and I want to look for an entry on the 1 minute. So now that's the 1 hour, that's the daily chart. So let's go down to the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute chart, look what happened. We went down in there and we took that liquidity. And then look what it did. It made a swing high, and it took out that swing high, and now it's coming back down to an inefficiency that I like. So now look what happened. Once it went down into that inefficiency, we took off again. So that's where I would enter it.
Hey guys, ever wonder what broker I use? Well, I use these guys, Hanko Trade. Look, it was a no-brainer for me because I was looking for a broker with really good trading conditions and one without any leverage restrictions. Look, also, by joining Hanko Trade, I was able to cut my cost of trading significantly with their super low commission of $1 per 100K. Look, if you want to find out more, check out hankotrade.com, or there is a link in the description. Cool.
That makes sense. What I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's awesome. Now, look, brilliant. This is fantastic seeing this stuff. Well, look, thank you very much for sharing with us, guys. Do remember we did do a podcast which is epic. You've got to go and check it out. I'll put a link underneath this video, so go and check that out. But before we wrap up, what's the best way for the guys to get hold of you?
Hey, I got a new podcast. It's out on Spotify. It's called Traders Life. You can check it out. Look it up. I'm also on YouTube. I'm going to start uploading my podcast to YouTube, and that's just under Stock Guide. And I'm also on Twitter also. So Stock Guide with 2 Ds. Stock Guide _GOD with 2 Ds at the end.
Awesome. Cool. And you guys, if you're thinking, why are these screenshots a little bit weird? It's because SG is on his iPad today outside enjoying the summer or end of summer.
Yeah, man.
So, guys, thank you for watching. Do remember, if you're looking to automate anything, I have got my Robot Builders Club where I teach you how to semi-automate or fully automate trading strategies. So go and check that out. Links underneath the video as well. Do remember, hit subscribe, hit like, and click on the notifications bell and click all. And we'll see you in the next video.